Okay guys, so in this video we're going to learn about nested arrays and objects. And in real life situation, you will deal with a combination of these two. Either nested arrays in objects or objects in arrays, or a more complex combination of these two. So let's take everything that we had in our app.js and copy it into our object literal. So let's make here a breakpoint and copy it in. Okay, so we have here everything clean. And now let's start typing here comment nested arrays and objects. There's the end. There it is. Now let's create an object and perform a few operations on it. And I'm just going to create an object. Let's say const user. Now let's type in here a key of first name. And let's give it a value of Norbert. Obviously you can give this whatever name you want. You don't have to use my name all over again. At the end of the day you will dream about Norbert. And now let's create another one, last name. And I'm going to give this a string of Meinhardt. Okay, now when typing a comment, I'm going to insert an array. So attributes and square brackets. I'm going to type in here teacher and another string of developer. Okay, now we're going to create a few objects. So let's type in another comment, objects. And let's create an object of experience. I'm gonna type something wrong, experience. Okay. And let's say we worked at a company 1 and we had 3 years of experience. And then another company 2 and we had 5 years of experience, and a company 3 and we had 6 years of experience. Okay, now let's create another object. I actually forgot to close this up there. So let's create another object of salary, because we work for money. So salary, and let's give this a few values of, let's say, when we were a junior dev. And we had 1,500 something gold coins. We had 1,500 gold coins. And then when we were a senior developer, we had 2,500 gold coins. And then we became a team leader and our salary almost doubled to 4,000. Okay, so we have our object of user company. There we go. Now let's say we want to get the total amount of experience that this user had. Now let me change this to person. Person, that's much better. User. Okay, so let's console log our array of person. And let's see what we get. So we have our array, our object here. Now let's perform a operation, as I said, on the experience. Now let's get the total amount of experience that the person had. So I'm just going to create a let and I'm going to call it total XP. There we go. Now we could just create a sum out of this. So we're going to use the object user, and from the object user we're going to take the object experience, and for this we're going to take company 1 plus user dot experience dot company 2 plus user dot experience dot company 3. And that's basically it. So now if I would console log, let me go down here, console log total XP, let's see what we get. We get an error. Users not defined. I changed it. Let me actually go in here, select all three of them. So if you don't know how to select multiple items that have the same name, just click on one and you can see all three of them are highlighted, and then you hold down Control and press D once and 2 times. And now Control V. And there we go. We have 14 years of experience. I could actually also type in here plus a empty string of experience. There we go, 14 years of experience. We could do this, or we could, let's say we wrap all of this into a parenthesis and take this and type it in here. So when we console log total experience, we will automatically get the sum and the string of experience. And don't forget, I left here a empty space. Now, what if we want to get the average salary? So let's create another let. I'm going to call this average salary. And this time I'm going to wrap everything in parentheses, and I'm going to take person, so object, and from this we're going to take junior dev, so when we were junior dev, plus person when we were senior dev, plus person and when the person was team leader. Okay, so this would just give us the sum, and now we need to divide it by 3. So let's console log now experience salary actually. So average salary, and let's see what we get. Not a number because we forgot salary. Okay, now we got our average salary. But you can see we have too many digits after our comma, after our dot. So because this is a string, what can we do with it? What can we do with numbers? We can now type in dot to fix. Not here, but after the average salary, dot to fix. And this should be a method. And this will give us the exact number. If we want to have something after the commas, we can type in here, let's say we want 3. We type in here 3, and we'll get our salary with 3 decimals after our comma. Now let's create another variable which I will assign this value. So let precise salary is equal to average salary dot to fix and open and close parentheses. And if now is I console log precise salary we'll get our precise salary, and I'll also add in here a string of plus let's say gold. Now how can we find out what is the total amount of salary that we got within our 13 years of experience. This is actually pretty easy. So we had here a total experience, and we have here a total salary. So now let's create another variable. Let total salary, and let's now grab onto the total experience and multiply it by our precise salary. Now let's console log this. Total salary, not a number because we had our string in it. So let me just, and we will get not a number. This is because we have here a string and here a string. We cannot perform this multiplication. So let's take out this and so this plus and the string, and let's also take out this string. Okay, so this is the total amount of salary that we got within our 14 years. And we can also add in here a string of total salary. Plus this, and there we go. We can also use the to fix here. To fix and 3 commas. And we could also then add another string of, let's say, the $sign. Let me go to 2. Okay, so that's pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, now let's create an array with a few objects in it. So let's say const users. Now square brackets, and I'm going to pack this into here. So user 1. Now curly braces, let's say name is Laura Manhart. So this is the full name, and then she has an age of 35. So now we're going to use a number, and now we have a role of, let's say, assistant. Okay, now let's create another user. So let's say comma user 2, and this will be Norbert, and he will have, let's actually change this to 30, and he will have 35 years of age, and the role will be teacher. Now let's say we want to grab onto the first user, and because this is an array, so let's console log the array of users. You see we'll get the array, and the first user will be Laura. So if you want to grab onto the first user, as always from array, we'll select the 0, and if you want to grab onto the name, then dot name. Okay, so now we have Laura Manhart. Now let's say we want to have the names of the users. So let's create a const, and let's say this will be user names, and now we will get from our array of users the first one dot name, so the first user and the name from him, and from the users again the second one dot name. I have a problem with typing today. And now if we console log user names, we will get those two users. And obviously we need to leave a bit of space here, so let's leave it plus empty string and then another one, and we will have our two users. So let me make this larger. Okay, Laura Manhart and Norbert Manhart. But as you can see, this gives us a string. And let's say we want to have an array out of this. So what we can do is convert it to an array. So let's create a let, and let's call this list of user names. And the way we create arrays is by typing new array. And we're going to create our array from our object users, and we want to grab onto the first user, and from this to its name, then comma users, the second one, so number 1, and name. And if I would now console log the list of usernames, we can see we get an array now. And this will be really helpful when we're going to learn about loops, because now we could loop through these users and do something with them. Okay, next up, let's say we want to find out the average age of the users. So let's create another variable, average age. Now we'll grab on to the users, the first one, and this time we're going to grab onto the age plus from the users, the second user, and again to its age. And now let's divide it by 2, because we have 2 users. Now let's console log the average age. You can say we get 32.5. Now let's say we don't want to use the number 2 here. Let's say we have more than 1 user, more than 2 users. So let me actually type in here another one, user 3. And let's say this is David, and he's not 15, 19, and he is a second assistant. Now how will we do that? I'm going to leave this average age as it is, copy it, and now comment it out. Now I'm going to add in here another user, so let's copy, actually let's type in plus user, from our users, the number 2 dot age, and this could be even shortened if we would loop through it. So if we keep adding to these users, but now this part right here, I would divide it now with the users dot length. Okay, let's see what we get. We get 28. So we just divided the amount of the users, the sum of the users' age with the length of the users. So if we would type in, let me just show you, console log, and now let's type in here users dot length, we'll get 3. Okay, so we just divided the number of users to the sum of the ages of the users. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for the video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.